Let us now look at the second example where we will consider a boundary value problem and solve it using the finite difference method. The ODE is something we have seen earlier. It is from a heat transfer problem through a variable cross-sectional area fin, and I pointed out the aspects of this differential equation. The differential equation is linear, but it has variable coefficients because the coefficient of the second derivative is a function of the independent variable. The coefficient of d theta by d psi is also a function of the independent variable. So this is a linear ODE, second order, but with variable coefficients. So it brings a certain amount of complexity to the problem as compared to problem 1 that we looked at earlier. The second complication here is that one of the boundary conditions is defined as a derivative. In the previous example, both the boundary conditions were in terms of the dependent variable directly. Here, one boundary condition is given in terms of the dependent variable itself, and another boundary condition is given in terms of the derivative of the dependent variable. So this is one element of complexity in this particular problem. Again, the goal here is to find the dependent variable theta as a function of the independent variable psi over this domain 0 to 1. Though we may be able to solve this problem analytically because it is a linear ODE, we are still going to adopt a numerical approach using the finite difference method. That means we will be finding out the value of theta at specific points psi 1, psi 2, psi 3, psi 4, etc. in the domain. We will not get an expression for theta as a function of psi. Rather, we will get the values of theta at specific values of psi that we choose based on the step size that we choose. What I'm going to do for illustration purposes is I'm just going to assume HPL squared by K to be equal to 2. The cross-sectional area of the fin changes with psi in this particular manner. Again, this is an assumption. You can have other functions for A in a different problem. But in this problem, we are going to say that A of psi is phi minus 4 psi. So this is the surface, and let's say the fin is like this, right? So the cross-sectional area of the fin at this particular point, which is at psi is equal to 0, the cross-sectional area of the fin is phi minus 4 times 0, which is 5. At the other end, at psi is equal to 1, the cross-sectional area of the fin will be phi minus 4 times 1, which is equal to 1. So the cross-sectional area of the fin changes in this particular case in a linear fashion because this is a linear function. For this A of psi, dA psi by d psi will be equal to minus 4 because if you take this and you differentiate it once with respect to psi, you're going to get minus 4. So this term is going to be minus 4 because this is dA psi by d psi. This is going to be phi minus 4 psi. So with all these features incorporated, the ordinary differential equation is this. A psi is replaced by phi minus 4 psi, dA psi by d psi is replaced by minus 4, and HPL squared by K is replaced by 2. So this equation becomes this. The boundary condition are just reproduced from the previous slide. Theta at psi is equal to 0 is 1, and d theta by d psi at psi is equal to 1 is 0. So the boundary conditions are given at psi is equal to 0 and psi is equal to 1. The two conditions are given, but they are given at different values of psi, making it a boundary value problem. That is why we are considering it here. So again, I'm going to choose h is equal to 1 by 4 for illustration purposes. In a particular problem, you may want to choose h is equal to 1 by 10. In another problem, you may want to choose h is equal to 1 by 25. So you should be prepared to solve these problems for different values of h. I've chosen h is equal to 1 by 4 for illustration purposes. So psi is equal to 0 is indicated as psi 1. Psi is equal to 1 is indicated as psi 5. So psi 1 and psi 5 are the boundary grid points. Psi 2, psi 3 and psi 4 are internal grid points. So totally for n is equal to 4, in this particular case, you have 5 grid points, and 2 of them as expected are boundary grid points and the remaining are internal grid points. So psi 1 is located at psi is equal to 0, psi 2 is located at psi is equal to 0.25. Remember, h is 1 by 4. So the gap between this and this will be 1 by 4, which is 0.25. Psi 3 is located at psi is equal to 0.5. Psi 4 is located at psi is equal to 0.75. So our goal in solving this problem with this value of h is to find out the value of theta at these 5 points. One of the values is known because theta at psi is equal to 0 is given to be 1. So we already know the value of theta at this particular point. So we know theta 1 is going to be equal to 1. We do not know theta 2, which is the value of theta at psi is equal to 0.25. That means that psi is equal to psi 2. We do not know the value of theta at this particular point. We do not know the value of theta at psi 4. We do not know the value of theta at psi 5. So we need to find out these 4 values. Of course, if you choose a smaller value of h, you will have more grid points and then you will have more thetas to determine. And that's what you should do in practice. To solve the problem at this resolution may not be enough. You may want to solve it at finer resolution, which means you must have more grid points. That means you must have h to be smaller than this. But we are just illustrating the idea here. MATLAB tools like BVP4C, etc. Does this very well for us. But we must understand how BVP4C solves this problem. And whatever we are describing here is what it does internally. Set up a system of equations using finite difference approximations and solve for the unknowns. So as usual, what we will do is we will write the ODE at the grid points. We don't have to write the ODE at grid point psi 1 because theta 1 there is already known. So we will not bother about psi 1, that particular grid point. So at internal grid point psi 2, what I'm going to do is, what is the value of A psi? A psi is 5 minus 4 psi. That is what is stated in the problem. So at psi is equal to psi 2, it should not surprise us that A of psi is 5 minus 4 psi 2 because we are talking about the grid point psi 2. At that point, psi is equal to psi 2, therefore this is A. Now this is the replacement for the second derivative. We are using central difference approximation, as you can see. So basically we are using this like we did in problem 1. And this finite difference approximation, which is the central difference approximation, has truncation error of the order of h squared. That must be remembered. So the second derivative is replaced by a central difference approximation, which has a truncation error of the order of h squared. Minus 4, then d theta by d psi. So we have to replace for d theta by d psi using an appropriate finite difference approximation. When you do that, what happens is we have to look for a finite difference approximation which has the same truncation error as we use for the second derivative term. So these kinds of approximations will not work because these approximations for the first derivative has an error of the order of h. So this will not work. Rather, something like this will work because this is the finite difference approximation for the first derivative and the error is also of the order of h squared. So d theta by d psi will be equal to theta I plus 1 minus theta I minus 1 divided by 2h. That's what this says. And this is the derivative at node I or grid point I. So when you're applying it at I is equal to 2, that means at psi 2, we have I is equal to 2, right? So d theta by d psi at I is equal to 2, which means at psi 2 is going to be equal to theta 3 because when I is equal to 2, theta I plus 1 will be theta 3 minus theta I minus 1, and when I is equal to 2, theta I minus 1 will be theta 1 divided by 2h. So that will be the replacement for the first derivative. Central difference approximation, truncation error is of the order of h squared. So that is what we replace the first derivative with, a central difference approximation which has a truncation error of the order of h squared. Minus, then you have 2 times theta. And theta at psi 2 is nothing but theta 2. We do not know what it is, but the symbol we know is theta 2. Therefore, the ODE at the internal grid point with replacements for the dependent variable, the first derivative of the dependent variable, the second derivative of the dependent variable is this. And we have taken care to replace the first and second derivatives by finite difference approximations that have the same truncation error. So this is fine. So now we can substitute the values that we know. All right. So for h, we know we have chosen the value 1 by 4. So wherever you see h, you can put 1 by 4. So h squared is replaced by 1 by 4 squared. And wherever you see psi 2, you can replace it by 1 by 4 because psi 2 is located at psi is equal to 1 by 4 because h is 0.25. So psi 2 is nothing but psi equals 1 by 4. So wherever you see psi 2, you can replace 1 by 4. Wherever you see psi 3, you can replace it by 1 by 2. Wherever you see psi 4, you can replace it by 0.75. All right. So when you do that, this equation with h is equal to 1 by 4 and psi 2 is equal to 1 by 4 reduces to this. All right, and then you can group the terms and arrange it such that theta 1 comes first, theta 2 comes second, theta 3 comes third. That is the way you can neatly arrange it. So you get equation A. Kindly note, we know that theta 1 is equal to 1 here because that is given in the problem statement from the boundary condition. You can do the same thing at the internal grid point psi 3. Replace the second derivative by its central difference approximation. Replace the first derivative by its central difference approximation. And psi should be replaced by psi 3. And psi 3 is equal to half. So when you put h is equal to 1 by 4 and psi 3 is equal to half, if I've done things right, this equation will reduce to equation B. Again, I have arranged it in the standard format. So you have theta 2 coming first, theta 3 coming next, and theta 4 coming third. So this is equation B. You can apply the same idea to the internal grid point psi 4. You get the same kind of equations, but the indices will be shifted by 1. So just be very careful with that. So you should be able to get this, and psi is psi 4 at grid point psi 4. So psi 4 we know is 0.75. So wherever you see psi 4, you can put 0.75 or 3 by 4. And wherever you see h, of course, we are going to use 1 by 4 because that is the h we have chosen in this problem. Again, putting in those numbers, you will get equation C. So at this point in time, we have three equations, A, B, and C. All the equations are linear because our original ODE is linear. And these three equations have five symbols: theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, and additionally theta 4, and then theta 5. So totally there are five symbols. Now let's incorporate the boundary conditions given to us. As mentioned earlier, theta 1 is given to be 1 in the problem, right? Because the condition that's specified in the question is that at psi is equal to 0, theta has a value of 1. So psi is equal to 0 corresponds to psi 1. So theta at psi 1 means theta 1. That is our way of looking at it. So this is theta 1 at psi 1. So psi 1 is equal to 1. So that gives one clue. Because with three equations and five symbols, we know we need two other clues in order to solve the problem. So we have gotten one of the symbols. So now the unknown symbols are theta 2, theta 3, theta 4, and theta 5. And still we have only three equations, A, B, and C. How do we get one more equation or get the value of one more symbol? So either of that will solve the problem. If I know one of the symbols, then I'll have three equations and three unknowns, so I can solve it. Or I can generate one more equation and then I'll have four equations and four unknowns which can also be solved. So here we are going to use the latter option. That means we are going to generate one more equation. Why? Because we have not utilized the boundary condition on the right hand side yet. So let's incorporate the second boundary condition into our problem formulation. So what is shown here is equation D. Theta 1 is equal to 1. I stated that already. So the second boundary condition in the problem is given as d theta by d psi at psi is equal to 1 is 0. So in the spirit of solving the problem with finite difference approximations, we are going to replace d theta by d psi at psi is equal to 1 with its finite difference approximation. And we would very much like that also to have a truncation error of the order of h squared, because the other terms in the ordinary differential equation had truncation error of the order of h squared. So for d theta by d psi at psi is equal to 1, we can choose a central difference approximation or let's say a 3-point backward difference approximation and so on. So there are always choices to do it. Here, I've chosen to use the central difference approximation for the first derivative at psi is equal to 1. That means at grid point psi phi. So if I use the usual central difference approximation, the 2-point central difference approximation, this at psi is equal to 1 will be theta 6 minus theta 4 by 2h. Exactly the same way as we did here and here and here. So I'm using the same thing, and I'm going to say d theta by d psi at psi is equal to 1 is nothing but theta 6 minus theta 4 by 2h, and it is given to be equal to 0. Okay, we have gotten one more equation, but the problem with this is it uses the symbol theta 6. That means the value of theta at psi is equal to psi 6. And there is no psi 6 in the physical problem because the fin stops at psi phi, which is psi is equal to 1. So what is theta 6? It is only a mathematical entity. It comes out of what is called a pseudo grid point. So I'm just extending this domain for mathematical convenience, not a physical thing, but for a mathematical convenience, I'm just extending this domain by one more grid point, and I'm calling this grid point as psi 6, and the value of theta here is denoted as theta 6. Now theta 6 has mathematical validity, though it does not have physical validity. This boundary condition with the fictitious or the pseudo grid point gives us this equation. And since this equals 0, I can write theta 6 is equal to theta 4, which I label as equation E. So we have equations A, B, C, D, and E. We have 5 equations, but now we have 6 symbols. Theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, theta 4, theta 5, and the new theta 6. So we have really not solved the problem. We have increased the symbol by 1. We have increased the number of equations by 1. That has not solved the problem for us yet. Now, how do we get one more independent equation so that we are able to determine all the unknowns? What we do is we write the ODE for the boundary grid point psi phi, because the ordinary differential equation should hold at the internal grid points as well as the boundary grid points. It holds everywhere. Here it should hold at psi is equal to psi phi as well. So we just invoke that idea to write the ODE for grid point psi phi in the same way we wrote for psi 2, psi 3, and psi 4. So when you do that, you get this representation of the ODE in terms of finite differences. And we know that psi phi equals 1. And we also learned that theta 6 equals theta 4. That we got from equation E. So with the incorporation of all this information, we are getting this particular equation, which we call equation F. Now we have 6 equations and 6 unknowns, and we can solve for these 6 unknowns. Of course, the 6th unknown, theta 6, is only fictitious. It is there for mathematical convenience. It is not there physically. So we can always say we have equations A, B, C, D, and F, the 5 equations in terms of the 5 symbols. Equation F has incorporated the idea that theta 6 equals theta 4. So we do not have to determine theta 6. All right. So we are going to look at equation A, B, C, and F. I have put a star in these equations to say that we have incorporated other information than when we originally created those equations. For example, theta 1 is equal to 1 has been incorporated in equation A to get A star. And theta 6 is equal to theta 4 has been incorporated. So we have now 4 equations in 4 unknowns. And you can easily solve these 4 equations using matrix algebra. You can formulate it as AX is equal to B with X being theta 2, theta 3, theta 4, and theta 5. So A is going to be a 4 by 4 matrix, and B is going to be a 4 by 1 vector, which is going to be minus 72, 0, 0, and 0. So that is going to be B. So you can formulate this problem and you can solve it to get theta values at those specific points. Psi 2, at psi 3, at psi 4, and at psi 5. and then you can plot it using plot command in MATLAB. So this was an example where the coefficients were variable, but that did not pose much problems as long as you know that you have to replace psi 2 by 1 by 4, psi 3 you replace it with 0.5, and psi 4 you replace with 0.75. The only other complication here was that the boundary condition at psi is equal to 1 was specified in terms of the derivative. Therefore, we had to do two things. One is you had to introduce a fictitious or pseudo grid point to the right of it. We called that grid point as psi 6 and the value of theta there as theta 6. The other thing we needed to do was to write the ODE at the boundary grid point as well. Once you do all of this, it's a matter of bookkeeping and organizing to get an equation system of n equations in n unknowns which can be solved. If it is linear, you solve it by a simple backslash command as we have demonstrated in this problem. If your ODE happened to be non-linear, you would have used Newton method to solve it. I'll stop here and thank you for your time.